everybody, and welcome to the introduction into Arduino.
Hello.
We've got Horlixs and we've got Jack with us tonight. I'm back after a week off because we got stripped with COVID in this house. So hopefully everything's getting back to normal.
Lovely, yeah, I hope so.
Larger.
Are you all testing negative now, or are you still?
I still tested positive this morning, even though I'm 7 days into it. But the line's getting fainter and fainter each day, so
That's good.
Must be good things. But the boys, they've both tested negative, so they're okay to get out of isolation.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a nasty thing to have. Absolutely floored me. Okay, right. I'll go through some comments and then we'll get on with things. So, gold star goes to D. Harris. A good evening, Mark, Alex, and Jack. Hi, D.
Hi, D.
And then we've got Dano's Universe. Hello, everyone. Hi, Dano.
Hi, Dano.
Hi, Dano.
And then we've got Jack. Hey, everyone on Twitch.
Hello, Jack on Twitch.
Yeah.
And above.
And then we've got Gillian Milne saying, evening, everyone. Evening, Gillian.
Hi, Gillian.
And then we've got D. Harris at Dano's Universe, at Gillian Milne, evening both. And then we've got Gillian saying, evening, D. And then we've got Yorkshire Crafter. Hello, everyone. Hi, love.
Hi, Julie.
Hello.
And then we've got Dano's Universe, evening, D. And we've got Geordie Dave. Evening, everyone.
Hello, Geordie Dave.
And then we've got D. Harris, evening at Geordie Dave. And then we've got Geordie Dave saying, evening at D. Harris. And then we've got DS Models and Vintage. Evening, all. Evening, Dave.
Hello, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
And then we've got Ian Campbell. Evening, all. Glad to hear you feeling better, Mark. Thank you, Ian. And then we've got Ian Horlicks. I get what you mean now, Ari, the switches.
Oh, okay, yeah. I gave Ian a little bit of a sneak. I know you know what's going on, but some people don't. So,
Okay. And then we've got Dave Matt Builds. Good evening, everyone. Evening,
hi, Dave.
Evening, Dave.
And we've got Jay's channel. Good evening, all. Hope everyone is okay and well. Evening, Jason.
Hi, Jay.
Evening, Jason.
Then we've got D. Harris. Evening on the other side. And then we've got Dano's Universe. Very windy here in Newcastle. Yes, it's very windy here too.
Yeah, and here I've just had to tuck the bins around the corner. And one of them, our next door neighbour's bin, has actually blown off and gone somewhere, and we can't find it.
Right. And then we've got Dave Matt Bill saying good evening, D. And then we've got Logan Butler saying good evening.
Hi, Logan.
Then we've got Geordie Dave saying hi, Ian. Warren, say thanks for the Bismarck mod. His has arrived. Fantastic. That's the chat for now. Let me star it so I know where we are. There we go. Right, so mine's quite a simple one tonight. All we are going to be doing, well, this is lesson 4. And all we're going to be doing is basically testing some resistors and the effect they have on LEDs. So that's what my plan tonight is. Alex, what's yours?
So, I'm going to be honest with you. A couple of years ago, I learned quite a lot of Arduino, and it went in really quick. I don't know whether it's just because I'm a couple of years older or not, but I'm really struggling to get some of this information retained. And I was panicking, like, what am I going to do? And like the simplest thing, like, well, it's not that simple, but I was going to add a button to the traffic light system, and I was looking at a few articles, and it's actually quite complicated. So, it's doable, and also it's very specific. Like, I could show you how to do something, but you might want to do something completely different, and then whatever I show you won't be, what you're after. But anyway, tonight I've cheated. I found someone else's project, so we're going to upload the code, and then I'll show you what it is, what it does, and we'll wire it up. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It involves a screen tonight, a joystick, and a buzzer.
Wow. Cool. All right, we had a little bit more chatting, so I'll just go on to this. So Ian Campbell says, cool, thanks, Dave. We've got JJ, hiya, hello, new to us.
Hello. Hi, JJ.
And then we've got Jay's channel. The wind has really ramped up in the last half hour, really strong gusts.
Yeah, it's supposed to get worse Friday, I think. It's 47 at the moment, miles an hour. And I think Friday could be up to 55 or 56.
Ian Campbell saying, ha, Horlicks, you wait till you get to my age. I forget the wife's name.
No.
And then we've got D. Harris saying, evening at Ian Campbell.
Oh, dear.
And Ian Campbell says, hey, D. Harris, you well. My man, see, I slipped into your speak then. Okay, right, let me start that one. And let me change a few cameras around. So, I need to mute as well because I'll set everybody's devices off.
No. I changed mine.
Right.
So,
why hasn't that come on? That should have come on. All right, it's on now. There we go. Right, so tonight, all you're going to need is your breadboard. You're going to need your Arduino unit, a red LED, black wire, red wire, and then we've got 3 different resistors we're using. We're using 220, 1K, and 10K resistors. And all the idea of this one is it wants us to show how resistors reduce. It's the power going towards the LED, isn't it, Alex?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically we have sort of a diagram of how this is going to go. So if I just... Because yesterday I worked off the diagram, it was far easier. So if I share screen...
And it's just, I suppose it's just worth noting, you'll probably find out when you go through your tutorial, but resistors can go in either way. There's no polarity to them. And it can be, I think it's preferred on the positive side, but you can use them on the negative side as well. Which I can't get my head around, because you have the power going into the LED, but then you can resist it on the way out, but it still works.
Yeah.
I can't get my head around.
Right, so if I go a bit further up, we do have a sort of, that's what basically we're going to be doing tonight on the board. So we're going to have a red wire coming out the Arduino board with 5 volts and then a ground. And then we've got the red LED. That's going to be going there before the resistor gets to before the LED gets to it, to resist the polarity that's going into the LED. You can tell I've done my homework.
Yeah.
So let me just stop sharing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in an LED. Now all LEDs, the longer wire is the positive. The shorter one is the negative, or the ground. So all I'm going to do here is just bob it into the breadboard.
I'm just going to make you full screen for a moment so we can see. Okay.
So I'm going off what is going to be the negative, if I can get it in. Okay, so there we have, that's that one. Right, I might be actually send this a bit more further across, so I've got a bit more room. That's better. Okay, so that's the LED in place. Next, I'm going to get a 220 resistor.
I'm just going to quickly answer Dano's comment, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So Dano says, what does the K mean on the resistor? That means, I believe it means kiloohms. So you've got ohms, kiloohms, and then it goes up from there. Mega ohms.
So here, let's see if I can bring it up a bit. We've got a resistor that's going to go into the positive side, we've got the negative of the LED going into the ground side, and then we've got a resistor in front of the LED that's going to cause it not to blur. Then what I'm going to do is get a red wire and put that to 5 volts on the board, and then a black wire to ground. And then obviously red wire is going to go to positive on the board, and black wire is going to go to negative. I always find I like to use the correct colour wires actually.
Yeah, I do normally, if I've got them.
Right, so in theory, that should all be now wired up. So if we plug in, we're either going to have a firework or we're going to have a light. And there you can see that's the LED on. Right, so I like to prefer to unplug this. We're going to change the resistance now. Just take out that positive just to be on the safe side. Right, so we're going to take this one out, this 220, and we're going to put a 1K in. In theory, this should make it a little bit duller. So that's that one in. Put the positive in. And that is a bit duller. Not noticeable, is it? But you can tell it's duller. So
yeah,
again,
there's not so much glare on the screen.
No, unplug it. Or we can plug the red wire. Next, we're going to go for a 10K. This should only be variably visible. Tell you one thing, these little bags that you get with your screws in Parkworks come in handy. Are you doing the same, Jack? Right, so that one in. This is a 10K one. Okay. Back into powering it up. Just make sure that resistor's definitely in there, which it is. Definitely going in. And there we have an even duller wire. Oh, sorry, duller bulb. And that's basically this lesson in a nutshell. It's just showing you what different resistors do. Now, I will show you the how they come, the resistors. I put these in a different pot. But they come basically on a strip like that. That's the 1Ks. That's the 10Ks. And then we've got the 220s there. They send you a few more 220s than they do the other ones. So must be a popular resistor. And that's that for my lesson. So I can come off full screen now. And there we go.
Lovely. What's
Hang on, I'll just catch up with this chat. D. Harris says at Ian Campbell, wait till you start my shorthand. Yeah, that's true. Jay's channel says being told we got told expect 90-mile winds along the coast. Oh gosh. And then we've got Ian Campbell says ha ha D. Jack, you know you're muted.
Sorry, don't read JJ_17. I've been banned.
Oh, he's banned.
He's banned.
Okay.
Well, if you have messages, then yeah.
We've got Teme saying hi, Jack.
Hi.
Dano's universe where Horlixs has done that, and then we've got Gorgit. Good content, boys. Keep it up.
Thank you.
And the same again. Where's my lamb posture check?
I'm not doing channel point rewards on these shows.
Yeah. And then Ian Campbell says, how do you calculate what K rating you need for the different LEDs? Oh, good question.
God, now you're asking. I don't know. I'm not an expert. I wouldn't have a clue. What I do is I stick to the rule of thumb of use a 220 for an LED. And then obviously, yeah, like Mark showed, I just play around with it. It's just I get the brightness I want. I know it's to do with Ohm's law and all that lot, but that's too above me, I'm afraid.
Well, I mean, if I turn my screen again, in this, obviously, the kit, this is what I'm working off on instructions, but it does go into the LED, different resistors and different bits and pieces about it. So if you do get one of these kits, all the information is there. But I read it, and it just completely went over my head. I'm like, yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, things like that is pretty intense. Like it's Ohm's law. It's all about Ohm's law and knowing. I think you've got to like take in consideration. You've got to know what voltage you're putting in, and then I don't know.
Yeah.
Then there's a mathematical calculation, and I'm no good at maths. But all I know is that a 220 works for LEDs, and if I blow it up, I blow it up. That's.
We now know a 10K and a 1K works on LEDs as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so David Bassett says, good evening. Good evening, David. And then we've got Kaylin at White Glove Models. Hello, everyone. Hi, Kaylin. And then we've got JJ. Ian Campbell, I would definitely take you out for a one-night stand because you're hella fit. Ooh, very nice. And then we've got Jay Johnson at White Glove Models. Hiya.
Don't show the one underneath this next one. Don't show the one underneath.
Okay.
Well, if you read it.
Ian Campbell says, why? Thank you, JJ. Hang on, let me read it. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Ian Campbell says, I guess you can try this all out on Tinkercad Circuit Designer. Yes, you would.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
And then Ian says, hi, Kaylin. There we go. So I'm really pleased with that lesson. I actually did do it prior to the show because I wanted to make sure I understood, because last time I felt I was a little bit unprepared for last time's show. So I actually had a go at this beforehand just to make sure it worked and everything. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll change my camera. I think it's over to you, Alex.
Okay, so let me share my screen. So I thought we'd do a game of Pong. So I got the file off of the Arduino.cc website. There's a big community on there that people post their own projects and things. So I thought it'd be fun just to grab one of them, have a look at the code, and then we'll build it and see if it works. So it's not really a tutorial as such, but it, I'll show you how these projects work. So I'm going to open up Arduino. There we go. And this is the code I downloaded. It's easy to get off the site. There's a game of Pong. So this is all the code. Now, this is quite intense, to be honest. As I said to you before, like, I was really taking all this on board a couple of years ago when I was doing this big project I wanted to do, and for some reason it's not going in. I don't know whether it's because I've got a lot more minds at the moment. It could be that, but this is a game of Pong, and yeah, I thought we could have a go at it. So this is the code which I downloaded. So we just need to build the circuit. So I will come to desk view, Oh, there we go, and we'll build it. So for this, we are going to need the Arduino and a breadboard, a load of jumper wires. We need a analog thumbstick and a small screen. Also, I've got a buzzer and just a jumper wire. So these are the bits I'm going to use. So let's wire up the screen first. Now, it's hard because on here it doesn't really say on the code where the screen gets connected to, but it's pretty much the same whatever screen you use, and I'll explain that in a moment. So it's pretty self-explanatory. So I don't think you have to tell it, really what you're doing on there. So the screen has got labels on. Move this. So it's written on the board conveniently. So you've got ground, VCC, which is your positive, SCL, and SDA. Now, forgive me, I can't remember off the top of my head what they mean, but that's our labels. So we can connect all this up. So we're going to put the screen on the breadboard. I'm going to put it there and just leave some holes above it because we're going to have to connect this up. So now, if you look on the board, I'm going to put the VCC. Now, I've already got a jumper down here to the positive, but I'm not going to use this because this is connected to the 5-volt line. This screen needs 3.3 volts. So you could work out a resistor to use if you know the calculation. But conveniently on this Arduino, you've got 3.3 volts on the power rail there. You've got 3.3, you've got 5 volts. So I'm going to connect it to the 3.3 pin directly on the board because then we haven't got to use a resistor because there's one on the board. So that is where my positive is going to go. Then we're going to want negative. That'll be ground pin. So I'm just going to plug that in. That can go on the ground rail. That's fine. Okay, so when it comes to SCL, I'm going to plug that in. And I'm also going to put another orange cable in on SDA as well. So where it says SCL, if you look on the top here, it says SCL. So you just match it up. So that is going to go up to the SCL pin. It's going to be a bit tight, but I need to get some more jumper wires. And then underneath it says SDA, which is what we've got written on here. So that is super easy. Now, most screens are sort of like that. This is a 4-pin connection, but if you get like the bigger screens, like on the intro you saw, I did the sketch with the introduction. That's a bit more complicated. There's 16 pins to wire up. So you don't just use these 2 cables. You have to run them to some of the analog pins and stuff like that. But that's for another day. So this is the basic setup. That's the screen attached. What we're going to want to do now is let's get a buzzer or a speaker. So on the speaker, you've got plus. So we've got to make sure the polarity is right. So I'm actually going to put this on the board over here. So if we look back, I don't know if it tells you on here. I'm just having a look to see if it's told us. Yes, it has. So it says the beeper is in pin 12. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to put the plus or the positive into pin 12 because that's what that states. Obviously, we can change that. We could, write anything in there. And then if we go back on here, we can see that they've defined the beeper in pin 12. And then when you do your pin mode, we're telling it, much like the LEDs, it's going to be an output. And this is a good example. We're going to be putting a switch in, which is from the thumbstick. That the switch itself has got its own pin. So if you see here, it says Y pin, which is 1. Sorry, switch pin is in pin 4. Now the switch is an input, so that's what they've defined there. The switch is an input because the board is waiting for that input to then do what it needs to do within the code. Oh, right. So where were we? So yeah, let's we've got the beeper. So that's gone into pin 12 because that's what the sketch says. And then we need another. I'm missing. Oh no, I've got one. All we're going to do is put a ground in the other side of the beeper. So that can just be tucked up there and go into a ground pin. I hope you follow him. Now we need to connect the thumbstick up. So for this, instead of using pin-to-pin jumpers, I'm using a male and female end because obviously we've got pins on here. So first of all, if I take this cap off, it's written on here what everything is. So you've got switch there. So as the sketch said, let's go back to the sketch. The switch pin is connected to pin 4. So I'm going to plug that into switch, and this will go into pin 4. And that is for the switch on this. As you know, let me just move this back. So yeah, that's going to go into there. That's going to go into pin 4. And that is for the clicker, because when you push down, it activates this switch here. So that's what we're connecting this wire to, pin 4 for that switch. We've then got the basics. We've got ground just there. So we're going to plug ground in. That can go to the negative rail. That's simples. We have plus 5 volt. Okay, so that's your voltage in. Again, for that, we can go directly to the the positive rail on the board because that's connected to the 5 volt pin. Okay. And then we've also got VRX. So VRX and Y is just the direction you want to use this in. So I'm going to use X because then I'll keep it up this way. It's just more comfortable to hold. So I'm going to plug another pin into there. We're only going to populate 4 of the 5 pins. If you wanted up and down and left and right movement, you would have to put the VRY in as well. And this will go to analog 1. And that is pretty standard, I believe. Like with the screens and stuff like this, you've got the analog pins, and then because we're only going to use one, I'll put it into A1. I mean, it's probably lost a lot of you, maybe, but
No,
that is basically.
I'm following.
Cool. So that's basically it, by what I can tell. Whether this works or not is another question. But that's how you would wire this up. Mm-hmm. So that leads us now to inject the code to Arduino. So we'll grab my lead, which is conveniently plugged into the back of the keyboard. So let me change screen. We are going to have an error on purpose. Okay. So I'm going to plug in Arduino. I have got lights. Nothing's happening because it's still actually got the traffic light code stored on this. So obviously it's a completely different circuit. But we've got we've got the lights on there. So here is our code. So I'm just going to hit upload, and we should get an error. We do. So it's see, again, I'm not really quite sure the reasons for this or why or what, but you've got libraries, and I think it just makes the code specific things that you can make this do, and you need libraries for. So I think for this, it's basically the game file, I believe. There's loads of libraries. Because we've told the sketch to include that library, it's saying that there's no such file or directory. So that means we haven't got this library installed to use within our code. So we're going to have to add this library. So all you have to do, in most cases, is just copy this. And you can, if you get like code and projects off third-party websites normally, they normally give you, if it uses libraries, they normally give you download links so you can download them and manually install them. So to do that, you would go to what do we do? We go to Sketch, include library. Okay, and then we can add a zip library. And then what you do is it will ask you to find it on your system. So that would be the download file that you downloaded from that website for the library. But for this instance, this should be on the Arduino, and you can search for it. So if we go to Sketch, include library, and then manage libraries, I think it's this one. Yeah. We've got a library manager, and this is where we can search, and you can install different libraries. So I copied that. So let's paste that into there, and hopefully it should give us the library for it. So is it that one? Let me just take that line out. Yeah, so it's this one, the Adafruit GFX. So here it is. So we just click on that. You can then select the version you want. So the latest one will be fine, and then we'll install it. Installed. That's it. Done. So now when we re-upload this code, I'm hoping this error is now going to disappear if it all goes to plan. Oh, it did. Now it's telling us we're missing this one. Now, this 1306 is actually the screen. The LCD that we've used needs a driver. So this is basically what this is. So no such file. So we're going to have to, again, copy this. and we'll search it in the same way we did. So we'll go to Tools, Manage Libraries. I'm going to paste this in here and hopefully find a result. Here it is. SSD 1306. So again, get the latest version. You can get older versions if there's problems with some sketches. And then we'll install that. And then that's been installed now. So that's the screen. So it's going to recognize the screen. Okay. And then let's try and upload again. Ooh. Okay, so that seems to have gone correctly. So now I'll unplug that. We'll come back to me and we'll see how this works. So let me move the light. We'll plug this in. And hopefully, if that code works, okay, we should have a game of Pong. There we go. Excuse the lines, it's just the screen. Now we can use our thumbstick to control our paddle. There you go. I'm no good at Pong. But everything works. We've got beep when the ball hits the outside. I'm useless at this. Let me move this in. You get your scores, and the paddle's going a bit slow actually, but we could even adjust that in the code. I'm guessing there'll be somewhere. Yeah, so that's that. And then if we push the button, because if you remember, we connected the switch to pin 4. What that's going to do is reset the game. So when we click on the button, it will reset the game.
Ah.
Nice.
So yeah, it's just a bit of fun. So I'm finding this paddle really slow. So just before we end there, let's have a look at the code and see if we can find out where we can edit the paddle speed. Oh, maybe it's this paddle rate. That's set at 45.
Like 100.
Let's have a play. Yeah, let's change that to 100. And then we'll re-upload this code and see if it changes our paddle. You know, for things like numbers, you know, you're pretty safe to play with them. Just remember what it was at, or save it before you make any amendments. Because then, if your code no longer works, you can go back to the original and start again. But don't be afraid to play around in here. So let's upload that. And see what happens. So it's going to reload the game. Okay, so I think that's actually going even slower.
So maybe the value should be lower then.
Yes, I think it does. So let's go back and change this. It was 45. So let's do something like 10. No, let's do 15. Upload. Okay, that's done. Game should restart.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's a bit quicker.
Ooh,
So there you go. I still can't hit a ball. What's going on? I used to have an Atari.
What would happen if you set it at 0 then?
Well, let's have a look. So let's set that to 0. Upload. Come back. Oh.
Really slow.
That's not really made any difference. It's definitely made a difference.
Maybe it's somewhere else in the code. I don't know.
Let me try it on 10. Maybe 0 is like a default value. That's a bit quicker. So I'm guessing 0 may be like a default value. And it will just, I'm not sure. Hang on, let's have a look. I've just moved it up a bit more. Oh, thumbstick came out.
Oops.
Right. Yeah, that's a little bit quicker. I think, yeah, see, it's all about experimenting. And this is what I mean. Don't be afraid to play with it. You know, if you decide to do a little project, just play with it. Like, you've got paddle height here.
I'm going to say we could change the value of the paddle height, couldn't we?
Let's change that to 20. See what result we get. There we go. Much
there you go,
bigger
bigger.
Ah.
Oh, well, I can actually hit. I can hit the balls now. Oh, maybe not. A bigger paddle, and I still can't hit the ball. Oh, it's funny, isn't it? So yeah. Anyway, that is a bit of a play around, and it's really good. If you go onto the Arduino.cc, you know, people have made these projects. You fancy something, just have a play with it, and then, you know, play with the code. I can't remember what that was on. 12, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You've got the player scores you can change. So I'm guessing that would be like a handicap, perhaps. There is a way of connecting another control to this as well, so you can have 2 players. Yeah, and that's basically it. Like, you can change things. So if we go down, where is it? Let me just cut that off. You'll find the text soon, like the display. So you can set the text color. Obviously, it won't work for this because it's not a color screen, but where is it? I'm looking for the commands. For the text. Which I can't seem to find in a minute. Where are we? Oh, here we go. So this is the sort of commands I had to use when I did the intro, with the, you know, Mark's Modz and all that. You tell it what line and everything, and the text size we can change, and then so if you win, it will say you won. We can change that if we wanted to anything, like Mark's Modz, for example, or, you know, let's play. When you reset the game, it says AI 1. Let's change that to Mark's Modz and see what happens. Let's upload the code. So, gonna play. Reset the game. There you go. So you can, you know, you can do whatever you want. It's just a case of looking through the code and experimenting, basically. So I hope that sort of helped a bit. So just, I suppose the thing is, I suppose the thing is, just don't be afraid to experiment. You know, these are all variables. So if it won't work, it won't work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right, I'll just catch up on the chat. David Bassett says, Jay's channel. Hi, Jason. Hope you're batting down the hatches, Jason. Pepsi wasn't keen on the wind and rain down here today. I bet not. And then Ian Campbell says, I can't remember. Has it been explained how the plus and minus work along the breadboard?
Yes, I think I did it in the first.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
In the first one, but basically, it goes plus and minus. Or you follow the line on the breadboard. So if you connect, so you can't really see much, but if you attach plus to the plus rail, it makes this whole rail live where the line is. The only exception being, I will show you this because this is where I was getting. Do you know what? I spent. You'll laugh at this. When I was a real beginner, it took me a long time to realise why my sketch wasn't working, and I've actually marked it on here. This board is cut in half, so the plus and minus rail terminates here. That's why I've put these black marks on there. So when you energise this side, it only goes up to here. And I had this massive sketch on there and nothing was working. And I couldn't understand why some stuff didn't have power. And it's because, but you can tell because there's a break in the line. It took me a long time to realise. So, but on this breadboard, and I think Mark's, the whole line along the top is energised and the whole line at the top is negative. So as long as you've got one, I've got these permanent pins jumpers in there just to make things easier. And then as for these, they go vertically. So you've got A to E, which are connected vertically. And then you've got F to J, which are vertical. And obviously, if you want more pins, you just run a jumper from this last pin on this rail up to this one, and then you'll have another 4 pins you can use connected to this. Because if I put this up here, it won't work on the screen because there's a break here. So yeah, I hope that sort of makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, go back to the chat. D. Harris says, after Ian Campbell, first show. Yeah, D was saying we've done the first show. Ian says, cool, thanks, D. Jay's channel says, at David Bassett, yes, batten down the hatches, lol. Oh, bless Pepsi, don't blame her. And then we've got Ian, that's a good thing about the code. You can read it and know exactly where to put the wires, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yorkshire Crafter said, removed and reported JJ. Thank you, love. And we've got Neil Radcliffe. Evening, Alex and the gang. Evening, Neil.
Hi, Ian.
Evening.
And then
Neil, sorry.
Ian Campbell says, those include will hold function procedures that the main code calls out. And then Ian says, great example of what can be done, Alex. And Ian Campbell says, function draw score.
Function draw score. What was that for on this code?
I don't know. And then we've got Steve131. Evening, Mark. Evening, Steve. Hope you're doing well. So I think that's explained everything tonight, hasn't it?
I think so. I'm just going to sit and play. I need to hit this ball. I don't know why I'm not hitting the ball. There we go. Look, I can't have the computer winning. Oh, look, the joystick keeps coming off because it's only push fit.
Oops.
That's it. I'm on this all night now, aren't
I? Ian says you were asking where it draw the score.
Oh, Sorry, yeah, no, I was looking for the text for AI1, so I changed it to Mark's Mods. I've changed it back now, and now it says AI1.
Right, fantastic. I think we've covered everything tonight. I've obviously done my next lesson, and I've got the next one is RGB bulbs, which is red, green, and blue LED bulbs.
Yes.
So that's my next lesson. And Alex, you said you haven't really looked much into that one, so we might be all doing the same lesson.
I don't think I've done that either. So I'm going to be with Mark on this one next week. So I'm going to learn a bit about them as well, and do whatever the project says. So,
well, I said to you earlier, I said, if I can get it right, I can have one of them bulbs in the R2D2 lightsaber, and I can change it red, green, or blue.
Yeah.
Which is original lightsaber colours.
Yeah.
Possibilities.
Hi.
Okay, and then we've got one last comment from Dano's Universe. Can you not slow the computer down?
Yeah, I could try. No, I think because when I did the paddle, it changed the computer's paddle at the same time. But I'm wondering if there's probably something in the codes to tell it to match that or something. Without actually dissecting the codes and playing with figures and things. But there's so much online, and as I just before we finish up, as I said, it's all very well me trying to show you for certain things, but whatever project you're going to do, it's going to be very specific to you. So the codes are always going to be different depending on what you want from it. But what I will say is a bit of a disclaimer. If you do decide to play with this, be really careful about how you're going to use it. And it's all very well doing it on this test board. But for example, let me give you a random example. I want to build a code to make my Rootmaster have a disco. I want to turn it into a party bus. I'm going to put RGB lights in the bus, upper and lower deck. I want all that to flash. I want it to play some 80s pop music in there and Twiggy's dancing around. You need to be careful with that, because remember that when you connect this, you're going to need, resistors and things. You can't just go, that is a bad example. But if I was to use, say if I wanted to light my bus up with this Arduino, you would have to get rid of the circuit board. Now, if you went and connected this straight up to the lights on your Rootmaster bus, for example, you'll pop all the LEDs straight away. So you've got to be mindful of what you're using it on and whether you need to use resistors and things. So just be really careful if you're going to do your own projects. In that respect, it's all safe and well doing it on a breadboard, but when you actually come to put it on, one of your beloved models or something, just be extra careful. And if you're not sure, ask. Not necessarily ask, but Google it, or there is information out there. So
yeah. Okay, we've got this comment from Ian Campbell saying, looked to me that the AI paddle was always following the ball, so one-sided, really, smiley face.
Yeah, it's not fair, is it? So it's not on me. I couldn't hit the ball. Yeah, you're right. I think it might be. Sort of. Not 100%. Because it does freeze now and again. But yeah.
Okay. Right, well, I think we've done everything for tonight. We've nearly done an hour. So that hour went really quick. So, Jack, do you want to say goodbye first?
Yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Sorry we had a little bit of a mishap tonight behind the scenes. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you're not already, please do subscribe and like and comment and follow and share it with a friend. And yeah, thank you for watching.
And over to you, Alex.
Yes, so thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the show. I really enjoyed it. And just before I go, I forgot to mention, Oh, actually, I'm going to have to double check. If it's not, I'll edit the description. We'll edit the description. But in the comments below, can't remember if I've added the link. There should be a link to the download folder where you can get the codes that I've done tonight. So I've actually uploaded this Pong game to that shared folder. So if you wanted to have a go at this, you can head over to the link in the description to our Google Drive, and then you can download it for yourself. Okay. So yeah, but I need to check the links in there because I'm not sure if it's still in there or not. But it will be.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll just catch you with chat before I say my goodbyes. Ian Campbell says, great stream, chat. Thank you. You're welcome, Ian. D. Harris says, night host and all in chat.
Thank you, D.
No.
Thanks, Ian.
131 saying napped. I don't get that one.
Night.
Okay, so I just want to say thank you to Horlixs last week for filling the fort and doing a solo show. I was watching on my channel, and you did a fantastic job last week, Horlixs. So thank you very much for standing in, and it was all last minute as well, which didn't help.
No, you're welcome. And it was good to do that as well, because I realised after the first show that people might not even know how to use Tinkercad. So yeah. It was a good filler.
And all I can say is, after the week I've had, please guys be careful. Please use as much protection as you can. I'm triple jabbed and I still got it, and it still floored me. So yeah, be as safe as possible. So it's a good night from me, and we'll catch you next week for the next show. So bye.
Okay. Yeah. Bye.